Well, very simply, for 30 years, Canada has been using outdated thinking in its economic and security strategies. And this is what's caused the erosion of our prosperity and security. And what Donald Trump has done is laid bare the inattention by our economic policy community in that time. What's particularly unacceptable is his advisor, Jared Kushner, warned us what he was doing, that he sees us as a tenant, and he's a landlord, and he's going to come back and raise the rents. And in 6 years, and here we are. And Biden's trade advisor also said that the instability is a feature, not a bug. And absolutely nothing that our policy community or that the government did heeded that warning and prepared us for this inevitability that has come upon us now. So this is an issue of our own making, and Trump is simply laying bare the irresponsibility.
So I think you do a really good job of laying out the depths of that vulnerability, which immediately, as I was reading it and just even listening to you, I was thinking, like, is there a way out that is not, I mean, it's just, we're so much so dependent. Can you really untangle yourself with that level of dependence? Is it possible?
I don't, it's partly dependence, but it's partly irresponsibility. It's a responsible nation would have built a house of bricks, and we built a house of sticks. And the big bad wolf has shown up, and everybody's running around freelancing saying, what do we do now? I think the most thoughtful thing I've heard in the last couple of days was from Premier Wab Kinew, who said, what do we want to build towards? What's the house of bricks look like? And what's the plan to work there? And that's what we need to do as a nation. We have to have strategies to be sovereign and resilient. And then we just have to muddle through this time of self-created vulnerability.
So what does that resiliency, in your view, actually look like? Because I think you're right. There's an ethos kind of enveloping a lot of Ottawa, particularly where economic policy is concerned, that when, you should be looking outward, you should be looking, quote unquote, to free trade. And when you look inward, there's like a sentiment that develops against the idea of protectionism. Like, are we just talking about subsidizing dairy? Or what actually is, in your view, or what does rather a successful policy around resiliency look like?
We invest in many, many things, but we don't own them. We give them away. So this is not about corporate welfare. This is about stopping the irresponsibility for the things we're already doing, whether it's fundamental inventions for battery technologies or for AI, or giving all the best money away to foreign firms for the EV battery strategies, or inviting Google to privatize government in our largest city. These are all own goals. So this is not corporate welfare for dairy. This is creating prosperous and sovereign country where the money is. And the policies of the government, advocated by the policy community, have taken Canada backwards in this era, not forward. That's why we're last place in the OECD in productivity growth in the last 40 years. That's why we're last place in the 50 developing countries in the last few years on GDP per capita growth. That's why we're forecast to be the lowest in productivity growth in the next 40 years. Because we use outdated strategies that no other country in the world does. And this is not about subsidizing dairy or corporate welfare. Quite frankly, it's about stopping the stupid.
So tell me about how this institute that you have kickstarted will go about aiming to stop the stupid.
So there's a number of things we can do. Certainly, how do we do value-added strategies in energy, in agriculture, in resources? How do we make sure that in this dual-use era, that when we do these technologies, we not only get prosperity, we also get security or culture? How do we start to think differently about the funding we do for research and not give it away? How do we build expertise and capacity in these realms, like an economic council for value-added trade strategies? How do we create tax strategies that are not counterproductive? There are many, many things that need to be done and should have been done for a long time ago, but the old saying, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, the second best time is now. I've met so many bright young scholars who want to build a better country. I'm betting on them.